Elder Huxley once confessed in 1935, "I had assumed the world had no meaning." Decades later, fire reduced his house to ashes. Manuscripts, libraries, the works of a lifetime, everything vanished. He literally reaped the fruits of what he had sown in the fertile soil of his imagination. This is no mere cautionary tale. It is a revelation of a principle far deeper. Your imagination is not simply a mental tool. It is God Himself operating through you. Christ is not merely a figure of history. Christ is the creative power that flows through every thought you sustain, every vision you nurture, every conviction you embrace. Every scene held with persistent belief must inevitably manifest. Close your eyes to the apparent reality. Construct within your mind the scene of fulfilled desire. Saturate it with sensory reality. Persist as though it were already so, and the universe, in its inexorable obedience, will align itself. People, opportunities, synchronicities, all will emerge as if pulled by an invisible hand. Yet here lies the paradox. Whether you act consciously or not, you are always creating. Every fear, every doubt, every anxiety you nurture, you are calling into existence. You are God the Father who has forgotten Himself, wielding the creative power of the universe without awareness of the harvest you are sowing. Every sustained mental image is a seed, and it will germinate. This is not metaphor. It is the precise, unerring mechanism of reality itself. Paul of Tarsus knew this secret. In his first letter to the Corinthians, he spoke of wisdom hidden from the rulers of this world, a secret decreed before the ages for our glorification. He clarified, however, that only the Spirit of God can comprehend the thoughts of God. And where resides this Spirit? In your imagination. The human imagination is not fantasy. It is not mere daydreaming, nor an escape from life's harsh realities. It is the very power that constructed the cosmos, operating through every human being. When you imagine with conviction, you plant a seed that must bear fruit in the physical world. Paul was unequivocal. Whatever a man sows, he will also reap. No exception exists. Every thought, every assumption accepted as true, every feeling-laden mental image is a seed, and it will bear fruit in its time, whether immediately or decades hence. Even Herbert Hoover glimpsed this principle. He observed that human history could be written as a record of ideas implanted in minds, wars, revolutions, empires, all beginning as imagined realities. And yet, Hoover saw only the surface. Ideas are not inert. They are living forces, divine seeds planted in consciousness. Whoever directs imagination controls the world, not metaphorically, but literally. Modern propaganda exploits this truth. Every news headline, social narrative, or fear-laden broadcast aims to shape your imagination to produce realities favorable to others' designs. You awaken, consume the world's imagery, and unconsciously become a co-creator of the scenarios you fear. Yet a deeper truth remains hidden. No one can control your imagination if you consciously wield it. Persist in a mental scene with full conviction, regardless of external contradiction, and the universe will yield. The problem is that society teaches us to despise imagination. Adults are instructed to be realistic, to accept limitations, to submit to circumstance. While this belief takes root, the imagination remains active, yet it often works against us, creating poverty, illness, conflict, limitation. We are gods unknowingly shaping our own prisons. Neville Goddard's experience illuminated this mystery when he encountered the Holy Spirit, the power described in scriptures as bringing the remembrance of all things. He perceived the figure of Judas anew. Judas was not the traitor of conventional belief. He was the Spirit of God, revealing the hidden secret. As Paul explained, no one can know the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God. Judas received the sacred sopat, the Last Supper, because he was closest to the source of revelation, the one who unveils the divine secret. Every teacher who reveals the mechanics of imagination plays this role of Judas, betraying the secret to the world. Conventional religion directs seekers outward, to temples, rituals, and intermediaries. The secret, however, points inward. The power of God functions through your imagination now. Every image you sustain is shaping your future. The pressing question is not whether you possess this power you do, but whether you are aware of what you are creating. The imagination is God, and you are its vessel. This is not poetic allegory. Your eternal body is imagination. Your consciousness is the active Christ, the creative principle of the universe. Paul described Christ as the supreme power, wisdom, and delight of God, not three aspects, but one unified reality operating through human consciousness. Recognizing this changes everything. History mirrors this truth. Every empire, every revolution, every transformation began as an idea, as a vision in a mind. Hoover glimpsed this, but missed its depth. These ideas are literal acts of creation, seeds that must bear fruit. Whoever controls imagination controls reality itself. Modern media exploits this principle with precision, saturating minds with fear and scarcity. You awake, scroll, consume, and unknowingly become a co-creator of the very crises you dread. Freedom emerges when imagination is consciously claimed. Neville Goddard realized this. The human imagination is God Himself operating in man. The story of Judas underscores the revelation. The traitor is the revealer, the spirit that discloses the divine secret. The secret, the saving power, the Christ already dwells within. The word Judas derives from Judah, the hand of God, the directive power shaping reality according to what is imagined. Biblical narratives, thus, unfold as inner psychological processes, not mere historical events. Ignorance is no protection. Whether you know it or not, every fear, doubt, and limitation you sustain manifests. Jeremiah's vision reveals the mechanics, the potter's house, the clay, the wheel, your imagination continually shaping and reshaping experience. Spoiled vessels, malformed clay, are not discarded. They are remolded. This is your divine inheritance. You are the potter. The external world, the vessel, is shaped by sustained internal assumptions. Limiting beliefs, poverty, dullness, inadequacy are simply clay awaiting your conscious direction. Neville Goddard perceived that the external world is your imagination, projected outward. The law of harvest is precise. Every thought, every image sown will bear fruit. Huxley learned this dramatically. The manuscripts, art, and knowledge he cherished were consumed in fire decades after he assumed. The world held no meaning. The imaginative seed germinated. Paul's admonition, do not be deceived, whatever a man sows, he will reap, is literal. Every mental image is a seed in the fertile field of consciousness, and it will produce its corresponding harvest in time. Biblical archetypes illustrate the principle. Jacob and Esau reveal the transfer of reality from imagined state to external manifestation. Esau represents present circumstances. Jacob, the desired state. Through imaginative fidelity, Jacob assumed the close, the scent, the actions of Esau, and Isaac blessed him. The present could not resist the imagined. Neville emphasized, assume the desired state as already true. Immerse fully in the sensory reality of fulfillment, and the external world will conform. Faithfulness to the assumption is the key. Doubts may rise, but gently return to the scene imagined. Persistence, like the devotion of a lover or parent, hardens imagination into reality. You need not labor over means or methods. The world is yourself pushed outward. Every person, event, and circumstance conforms to your assumption. Doors open, impossibilities resolve, and people appear to facilitate the realization of your vision. Unaware of the deeper unity binding their will to yours, you are the invisible choreographer of all creation. Extend this principle to others. See them as fulfilled, whole, abundant, and they will align with the vision you hold for them. Separation is an illusion. At the level of the imagination, all consciousness is one. Practical application is straightforward. Construct a scene implying fulfillment. Use your senses. Feel, see, hear, taste, and touch the imagined reality. Remain faithful to the seen. Let go. Resist the urge to manipulate externalities. The universe, through its infinite intelligence, will bring the imagined into form. Neglect this principle, and unconscious imagination continues to produce unwanted realities. Every fear, limitation, or scarcity you feed is actively being created. The ultimate revelation is staggering. You are God the Father, not metaphorically, not symbolically, but literally. God has assumed amnesia to experience limitation. Neville's awakening confirmed this. The Holy Spirit descended as a mighty wind, and through the manifestation of David, the eternal Son, he realized the fullness of identity. Jesus is not merely a historical figure. Jesus is Jehovah, the eternal I Am. The imagination is the operative Christ, the power of creation manifest in each human. God reveals himself as El Shaddai, the almighty power, as infinite love, allowing the fullness of all experience, the duality of good and evil, pleasure and pain, abundance and scarcity, is the gift of divine amnesia. God experiences all through you, and even before final awakening, you may consciously wield this power. Every image you sustain now shapes your tomorrow. You are planting seeds in the fertile field of consciousness. Most live unconsciously, imagining fear, limitation, and victimhood, then marvel when the harvest appears. You may choose otherwise. Assume consciously, persist faithfully, and become the potter, shaping the vessel of your life. Meditation and focused awareness connect you with this divine intelligence. Every change begins with the recognition of your role as co-creator. Every external circumstance mirrors an internal state. Change the inner, and the outer transforms accordingly. The method is simple. Imagine, with conviction, the fulfillment of your desire. See it through your own eyes. Immerse in sensory reality. Persist faithfully. Release. Let the universe respond. Doubts may arise. Facts may contradict, yet remain steadfast. The imagination operates with precise, unerring law. Others, circumstances, and events will align to manifest your vision. You are God dreaming as a human. Every challenge, encounter, and experience is the expression of your creative consciousness. Even before final awakening, you may wield this power. Begin now. Consciously imagine, persist, and shape the vessel of your experience. The universe obeys. The Holy Spirit moves. The Christ within operates. The imagination is God, and you are its living conduit. The seeds you plant today determine the harvest of your lifetime. Choose consciously. Imagine wisely. Persist faithfully. The world bows to the fidelity of your inner vision.